y'all, it's Miss Terry in the library. We have one more take and make. You'd think I would get this right. Take and make art project, crafty project for the holiday-ish season. Yeah. And this one I thought was super fun. We have a baggie for you, and it has these little felt pieces in it and some thread. This is embroidery thread, and it makes, and of course my colors are a little bit different, but that's okay. You'll get the idea. It makes an ornament that's a 2020 dumpster fire. Because yeah. Anyway, so most of the dumpsters are blue. Most of the letters are white. But yeah, so I made mine a little bit different. Most of the backgrounds are brown, but that's okay. It's still a super cute ornament. Actually, mine's the one that varies off of what you were supposed to do because, you know. Anyway, we're going to show you how to make this adorable ornament slash wall hanging slash whatever it is that you want to call this thing. You do not have to put a hanger on it even. You could just have it as a little felt thingy. Yeah, if you wanted to. You could put some stuffing in it and make it like a little felt pillow. Yeah, but let's get to it. Let's talk about how to make this ornament slash pillow slash wall hanging thing. Yeah, and 2021 is going to be better, right?
All right, let's get into it. We're going to give you these pieces and some instructions, and then, boom, you're going to cut these out. Then we're going to get busy sewing. The first step is to separate our embroidery thread a little bit. Embroidery floss is actually 6 strands sort of wound around each other. We're going to separate that into 2 pieces. If you pull them and let it spin, you are less likely to get knots. Then thread your needle. If you do not have a needle, if you would let us know that you need to borrow one, we would be happy to provide one for you. This is a dull needle with a fairly big eye, like a yarn needle. And so when you make your knots here at the end, you're going to make a couple of knots. Unlike regular sewing thread, you're going to not double it up. You're just going to make a knot at the bottom and leave a little bit of a tail after your needle so that it doesn't fall out. And then we're going to place the pieces one on top of the other and sew them together. Once you have it laid out where you want it, pull your needle. We're going to come in through the bottom and go then over in what we call a whip stitch. So up through the yellow, down into the orange. Come over a little bit. Do the same thing. You can use a straight stitch here. It will just have a little bit different look. And then you just sew all the way around so that your yellow felty fire is on top of your orange felty fire. I did not sew the bottom here because when we go to connect it all later, we're going to sew the bottom. So then your next step is to add your red layer behind it, and you are going to repeat the same steps. So we're going to go down through the orange, up through the red, or vice versa, so that you are creating that whip stitch so that it is tacked on there and you can see the stitching and it looks kind of cool. And again, all the way around except the bottom, because if you did the bottom, then you're going to have 3 or 4 layers of stitching on the bottom, and we will get that part done here in a few minutes. The next step is to secure the flames to one of our bases. We are going to leave some space around the edge because later on we are going to attach the other backing to the back of this. So we need to make sure that we have room for those stitches as well. And this time we are going all the way around through the bottom, around the top, secure it nicely into place. Beautiful. Now we have our flames on what will be the top of a dumpster. The next step will be to put the numbers on our dumpster base. I lay these out here to sort of make sure that I know where I want them, scoot them over a little bit. If you have pins, this might be a good time to pin those things. You could have used pins through any of this if you'd like to hold them in place. I just held them. Not necessarily the best plan. We're going to switch the colors here of our threads and just do the same whip stitch all the way around each of the numbers. Beautiful. Now we are going to attach our 2020 dumpster to our ornament right underneath the flames. You are going to add the little handles and the little feet, and then place the dumpster over top of that. This again would have been a great place to use some pins. And then we are going to whip stitch all the way around. When sewing around the feet and the handles, I made sure to get both the top and the bottom of those little pieces to make sure that they would not end up sliding around. Beautiful. The final step is to attach the backing to our designed ornament. And this adds some stability. It also is what allows you to create like a pillow if you wanted to. We are simply going to whip stitch all the way around. That's why we left that space. When we get to the top, if you want to add a ribbon hanger, this is a good place to do that. I used a string. You can do that, but there's a better way than this if you're not using something like a ribbon that you can actually sew through. If you are using a ribbon, stick that in between there and then sew around and through that ribbon. Make sure you keep the ribbon sort of out of the way. What I ended up doing with the string was feeding it through again with a needle afterwards and then tying it and then rotating that string through there so that the knot was actually between the two pieces of felt so that it didn't hang out. When you have gotten all the way around, all there is left to do is tie off your thread, make a small little knot by sewing a knot basically into the back there, then trim the excess thread off very close and you won't even be able to see it hardly. And now you have a beautiful ornament or other conversation piece so that 20 years from now, when some young member of your family wants to know why you have a dumpster fire that says 2020, you can tell them all about this crazy year.